Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Indie Audiobook Deals channel. I am USA Today bestselling author Rebecca Hefner, and I am here with another bestselling author, Kait Ballenger. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for being here. And we see your audiobooks a lot here at the Indie Audiobook Deals channel. I know they're very popular with our subscribers. So we're very happy to have you here to tell us more about them today. So I guess let's just start off with, why don't you tell me a little bit about what genres you write, how long you've been an author, how many books you've written, all that fun stuff. Tell me about yourself.
Yeah, so I write primarily paranormal romance that's on the sexier side.
Love it, love it.
So I first started writing in 2008. It was a while back. My first book came out in 2013, so I've been publishing in paranormal romance for about a decade. And I
Fantastic.
have about 12 releases out. Not all of them are in audiobook. I've only got a few audiobooks. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. I had all sorts of stuff going on in the interim, kids, marriage, that sort of thing. So
Yes.
like it's been a long road to being an author for a decade now. So
That's how exciting though. And yeah, it is hard when life gets in the way. And I mean, we all know
yeah.
writing a book is not easy. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's great that you stuck along the journey, and now you've been, I mean, it's been ten years. Wow, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
the time has just kind of flown by, honestly.
It really does go by so fast. I cannot believe we're already more than halfway through October. I'm not quite sure. I feel like I'm in a time warp. So
Yeah, I'm like, when did that happen?
I'm not sure. Let me know if you find out the answer. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. So tell me a little bit. So what calls to you about paranormal romance and steamy romance, romance in general? Why do you write that genre, and why does it call to you?
So when I started reading when I was younger and like really getting heavily into books, it was always just like fantasy and paranormal sorts of stories that drew me. I guess it's just like the endless possibility of like anything can happen. And I also think that when you're writing about paranormal creatures or like fantasy creatures in general, right, you can sort of push boundaries that you can't otherwise write about. Like if you're writing something contemporary, like we can make our characters do things that might not be as socially
Yeah.
acceptable if you're not a werewolf, right? Like
It's so true. It's so true. I mean, piercing someone with fangs is so acceptable in a paranormal romance, right?
yes, right? Like
Real world, if that would really fly, but yeah.
yeah, so like I'm of the age range that like I started out reading like Harry Potter and like a lot of the like fantasy stuff, and like Anne Rice's books were really popular and like big at the time. I remember my elder like cousins who were starting to get into like the hot side of romance were reading Laurel K. Hamilton and that sort of thing. So
Yes.
it was just around a lot in my early reading experience, and so that's what the genre that I kind of fell into loving to read the most. And so then when I started to write, I just like, I can't imagine honestly writing much of anything else. Like I love other subgenres of romance. Like I'm a huge historical romance reader, but like I would never write historical romance. So like it's just
Yes.
I've always imagined myself writing paranormal and fantasy, and it's where I love to be. So
That's
that's where I've
great.
stayed so far.
I feel like in today's world, I mean, there's just so much going on in the world today. It's so nice that you can offer your readers and your listeners an escape, right? That's the best part
Yes.
about fantasy and fantasy romance is, right? You can just kind of help them transport out of the world and into another world for however long it is.
Yeah, yeah. And that's exactly what I look for as a reader. So that's like what I hope to give my readers is like if they just get to kick back and like enjoy this escape to somewhere else and like get to just like have a bit of pleasure to escape the,
Yes.
the craziness of our days, right?
Yes.
Like,
Absolutely. That's fantastic. By the way, I'm a huge historical romance lover as well, and I will never write it. But I
right?
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, right. But I love Lisa Kleypas. I don't know if you like her, but I think she's.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so like one of my all-time favorite romances is Dreaming of You, like
Oh,
Derek Craven fangirl forever.
listen, Derek Craven he's so great. So I'm gonna say, so mine is Devil in Winter because I love Sebastian
Oh yeah, yeah.
Vincent, but like
That's
Derek
like
Craven
the
is
other big
fine too.
one,
Yeah.
right?
They were sort of the beginning of like the morally gray heroes that we see now all
Yeah,
in book talk, right?
yes. See, like I love myself a good morally gray hero. Like all my heroes are bad boys to some varying degree. Like
Love it.
the more morally gray, the better. Like
I love
I'm
it. Okay.
into
Okay, so
it.
anyone out there watching or listening, if you like a morally gray hero who's going to come around in the end to give you a great love story, you got to check out Kate's books. So.
Yes, I hope so. I'm like bring those readers my way.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Listen, that's big right now. Okay, so since we love audiobooks here, we love all things audiobooks, and we also love all things wide audiobooks. So we love educating our listeners that Audible is great, but there are so many other great platforms out there too, like
Yes.
Kobo Plus and Chirp and Spotify and Hoopla and Libby and all those great things. So I know your books are available wide on pretty much all the platforms, which is exciting.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about like your narrators, and are they dual narrated or solo narrated? And just tell me a little bit more about your audiobook.
So right now I only have one audiobook that's fully indie, and that's Cowboy Wolf Trouble, and that one is a single narrator, but I'm hoping to get some more of my front list titles coming forward that are going to be in audio, and I'm thinking about maybe playing around with some dual narration for those. So those are potentially in the pipeline. It's still kind of up in the air, but we'll see. But so my narrator is Gabriel Thorne, and he's super talented. Like, you know, when the audiobook production company sent me the different samples, you know, they had a couple recommendations of who they wanted, and I was like, no, that's the guy.
Right away, right?
Yeah, I'm like, he's got the perfect voice. Because so Cowboy Wolf Trouble was the first in my Seven Rain Shifter series, and it's like cowboys meets werewolves, so it needed to be somebody who could do that sexy growly voice but could also make it cowboy, and I feel like he did that perfectly.
That is awesome. And I'm pretty sure you're going to have a lot of listeners at Cowboy Meets Werewolf. That's great.
Right?
Perfect. Yeah. So let's talk about a great fantasy romance. That's awesome. All right. So tell me, like, let's take, you know, your catalog and think about like, I'm sure all of your characters are awesome and they all speak to you, but what's one character that you feel like, you know, your listeners or your readers would really gravitate to in your series, and why?
Oh gosh. So if we're going strictly audiobook, I feel like Wes, the main character in Cowboy Wolf Trouble, would probably be the best bet, because he's like, if you love a good bad boy hero, you'll love him. He's appropriately tortured, right?
Fantastic.
Like, it's so broken and wounded, right?
Excellent.
Yeah, and I just feel like he's definitely a bit of a rule breaker, and I personally love characters like that, because like I'm like a Hermione Granger type. I'm like a rule follower, but I want to go see everybody else break the rules, right?
Sure.
So,
Nothing wrong with that.
right? So if you like a character who's going to bring like a little bit of chaos to a story, I think readers would be drawn to him.
Yes, that is awesome. All right, cool. So everyone listening, it sounds like that's a great that's going to be a great like paranormal romance, fantasy romance escape for everybody. So,
you know, my readers tend to tell me that I write good book boyfriends in their words. So I'm like, if you're looking for a book boyfriend, that's your guy.
That's what we all need. That helps with that escape from reality. So it's fantastic. We all need good book boyfriends. So that's great to hear. Awesome. So we'll listen to them in our earbuds and live out our fantasies vicariously through our, you know, through our characters.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, great. So that sounds so, I'm sure anyone listening who loves romance, who loves fantasy romance or paranormal romance, they are going to be so excited to dive into your catalog. So tell me, like, where is the best place to find you? Would it be a website? I'm sure you're on social media. Tell me all the places that we can find you.
Yeah, so readers can find me on my website, which is kateballenger.com, and that's where you can also sign up for my newsletter. Like I send it out once or twice a month, like so readers hear from me pretty regularly. And that's probably the way I connect with readers the most. But I'm also on TikTok, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, so you can find me most places, but I'd say that Instagram and TikTok are probably my bigger two platforms to like interact.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. So everybody make sure you look up Kate's books and get lost in the book boyfriends, which will be fantastic, especially in today's world. Like I'm reading more romance than ever because, it's just nice to have that escape, right?
Yes, yeah, it is. Like we all need that just sort of break from reality.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So Kate, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about your books and your audiobooks. It was a pleasure to have you and to chat with you.
Well, thank
And
you for having me.
sure. And thanks to everyone who is watching and listening. Make sure to subscribe to the Indie Audiobook Deals channel and make sure to continue to check us out because we have great deals on audiobooks like Kate's books and my books and a ton of other authors. We love to bring you great audiobook deals. So make sure you follow us on all the places. And thank you for watching. And we hope you have a great day.